Go live. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to Parter Studio. I am getting everything set up. Okay, that's set up. Let's make sure that this camera is set up. And I've got one other place to check. Okay, yep, that looks live as well. So my name is Chris Porter, and welcome to Porter Studio. I call that Porter Studio is my living room, but welcome to join me here. If you have not joined me for other live streams, today is day 12. I've got my sticky notes here. I'm going through day 30 of going live, or I have to eat this dog food, and I really don't want to eat this dog food. So I am an ADHD coach, and I've been putting together a coaching program, a group coaching program for people that have ADHD or just struggle with their focus and flow, to help them find their focus and flow in this distracted world. So before I forget, let me put this sticky note for my own purposes, the track up on the wall. There we go. And then I always look forward to marking off on here that bam. Oops. Another day of going live. And another day of me not having to eat dog food, which I am thankful for. So, I've been going live to share more about this coaching program that I'm putting together, that just adjusting this microphone. Yeah, I didn't think I was totally ready, but my buddy Mike encouraged me to just start putting it out there and to start sharing what I've been putting together. And so that's what this live stream is. And so today I'm going over the 7th habit of the focus habits, and that is simply strategize. So if you've been watching the others, I went over the other 6 habits, covering things like mastering time and organizing the chaos and developing a craftsman mindset. These are all things that have helped me to kind of self-regulate my ADHD, to kind of lessen the impact of this disorder on my life, because I do believe that it is a disorder, but there's also some benefits to it. So having ADHD can be really challenging. It can be isolating because you forget about appointments, you forget about certain friends, you forget so many different things because of our internal voice isn't as strong, and just memory issues, and all of these relate to executive dysfunction. But thankfully, there are ways of lessening the impact of it, and of living a great life, and of actually being really successful too. I'm working on becoming successful. I've been studying other people that have ADHD that are wildly successful, and some of it's because they've embraced the way that their brain works, and they've found ways of working that works well for them. So without more introduction, let's get into Simply Strategize. So I decided to sit down today. I'm usually standing up, but I wanted to try writing out some stuff on here, and just let's see how it goes. This is all an experiment, but I want to try that out. So I think I'm going to redo this for tomorrow. So goodbye. You served me well, Banner, but adieu. So simply strategize. What is it? And bear with me. I'm going to adjust this microphone again, because I think I want to have it right there. And see, that way if I'm here, I can talk and hear, and if you're on Instagram, you can hear me here. But yeah. So I first learned about this strategy from reading a book about a ace fighter pilot named John Boyd. And he was amazing. They called him 40-second Boyd. He could take down any other pilot within 40 seconds or less because of this unique strategy that he came up with for kind of military tactics. And I've noticed in my life that I can, especially when I'm dealing with the executive dysfunction and I am either feeling overwhelmed or I'm kind of triggered by my emotions, that I can just get stuck and not feel like I can't move forward, or feel like I have to have everything planned out ahead of time before I even take one step forward. And so, that you might call that analysis paralysis, where I am just stuck and not moving forward. And so that's one extreme. And then the other extreme of my ADHD is where I just take action before I've really thought things through. And so, I'm very extemporaneous, or I'm very, I can't think of the other word for it, but there's a medium between these, just extremes of going fast and not thinking through my actions versus being stuck and overanalyzing and not being able to move forward. And so Simply Strategize for me has been a way to still, if I'm in that one mode where I'm just wanting to make very quick decisions, this helps me to slow down, versus if I'm in that mode where I am just in analysis paralysis, where I'm stuck and I feel like I can't make the decision because I've got too many ideas, or I've got too many things going on, or sometimes it's just that my dopamine is really low and so I'm not able to just think through everything. This Simply Strategize helps me to have forward progress and to take action. So what is it? So each of these letters, OODA, stands for one of the words. And John Boyd, really thinks of this as a loop. So you start and then you keep doing the loop. Okay. I guess I could have done it the other way. So the first one is observe. So when you get into a new scenario, or when for instance, this challenge, when my buddy Mike and I were hiking Sabino Canyon and just talking through what it would look like to do this, that when he first did it, he was, after going through this, he got a lot more business. It helped to clarify so much about his life. And it was just a really positive thing to do, even though it was a real challenge for him to take action on it. And so when he shared it with me, I was like, oh man, I don't think I could do that. This would be I've got this newborn that's 3 months old. I just don't think that I could do this. So I was in that analysis paralysis mode. And so the first step of observe is just, I can observe what is going on in me, that, what are my emotions that are coming up about this? What are the things that I could do to still make progress on this? So observe is just kind of take stock of where you're at and of what's going on. And I'm completely blanking. Orient. Observe, orient. And he had this, I think he gave a talk once that was 8 hours going over this whole process. Sadly, none of those talks are recorded anywhere. There is a book that I read. It's Boyd, and then I don't remember the rest of the title. But it profiles some of this OODA process. And then others have taken it and moved on and added to it. But so this orient is decide the direction that you're going to go, and orient yourself to that direction. So, for me and this process of going through the live streaming, I was like, okay, if I were to do this process, what would that look like? And I started to imagine, like, okay, how would I actually do the live streams? Like, what would I actually talk about? So I started kind of pointing myself in that direction. So we've got observe, orient, decide is the next one. And this is where I would normally just instantly go to decide, like, okay, yeah, I'm going to take action without having thought through any of the consequences, or like, where is my direction already going? Like, am I already doing video stuff? Am I already trying to market something? If the answer is yes, then maybe this live streaming would be a good thing for me to do. But I didn't just jump right into it and hit that other extreme. So I observed, oriented my direction, then I made a decision, but I hadn't taken any action yet. So A is that last word, action. So you take action, and then as soon as I'm just going to do an arrow both directions. So as soon as you've taken action, you can start this process over again and observe, hey, how is this going for me? And then orient. Do I need to shift direction slightly? And I remember hearing a quote from, I think it was Tony Robbins, talking about an airplane when they're going in a trajectory, or when they're going on their flight path, that 97% of the time, they're actually off course by a little bit. They're never perfectly on course. So they're constantly having to redirect where they're going and changing course. Okay, make this fine adjustment, because if they just lock themselves in one direction and they were slightly off, after 1,000 miles, they might be 100, 200 miles off from where they wanted to go. And so those pilots keep having to make fine-tune adjustments. So every time they're making an adjustment, they make the adjustment and then they start over. They observe, are we now going in the right direction? Okay, do we need to change our orientation a little bit? So they think through that process. Then they make the decision, yes, I do need to go, but I'm only going to go a certain amount. I'm going to go 3 degrees south, or 3 degrees to the left. And then they take that action, and then they do it all over again. So this to me is a way of also saying, like, when I make that decision, yes, I'm going to go after it, but it's okay to keep adjusting the course. It's okay to keep doing this. It's been really helpful for me to just have a framework that tells me that it's okay to change course. It's okay to reevaluate and to kind of bring everything back on the table. I know just last week, my wife and I went through our finances, and we just kind of took a look at everything that was going on, what money coming in, the money going out. And I was wrong about like how much we had coming in. And so I had made certain assumptions about what we could buy for our daughter, or like childcare, or, all these different things. And so we had to do this observe, orient, decide, act with our budget. And we tend to do that every month, or we try to. We didn't do it the month she was born, but it's definitely a good kind of framework for thinking about approaching something where you don't have to just quit everything and make this huge life decision, which I think, looking back, I can remember several times where I was just fed up. I hadn't made those small little corrections, and I can remember I was working 3 jobs at one point, and I quit 2 of them like within the same 2 days. And then the third one, I was like, I am also sick of this, and I just want to quit. And I waited. And then I think I went back to one of those jobs a few months later. But I guess the moral of that story was, I wish I had done this process when I was working those 3 jobs to really identify what was going on in me, and then come up with a very quick plan. It doesn't have to be super detailed, but just, am I going in the right direction? Do I need to change course slightly? So I will be going more in depth into this in the group coaching program, but it has been something that has obviously been super helpful for me. And I'm excited to share more of these things, and also to get feedback from people like you, if you have ADHD, that the things that have been helpful for me, like I want to be able to like adapt them and to go through this process for each one of the habits and find out what can work for you, because I've been thinking a lot about what are metaphors for how this all works, for how coaching works, and even for how improving your ADHD works. And it's not just like one key turning a lock and then you've unlocked the full potential of your brain. It's more like when I was learning how to ride the unicycle, I think that there's like probably 9 distinct things that you have to learn in order to be able to ride a unicycle. But of course, when you're first starting out and you're first practicing, you're not good at all of those. So you might practice your balance, and then you start practicing like the pedal movements. And then you practice like how to squeeze your legs to hold on to the unicycle. And then there's like moving your arms and how to adjust that. And then there's the tilt of your body and how to tilt your body, because you kind of have to move your mass forward or backwards first, and then you let your legs catch up as you're riding a unicycle. Granted, I'm not amazing at it. I did own a 6-foot tall unicycle, and I could ride it some. And I may have to bust out the unicycle that's in the closet right now to talk through this, because I do think that improving your ADHD is like riding a unicycle. It's hard. You have to have a lot of things going right. And when one thing throws you off, like all of a sudden it can feel like you're about to fall over and like, oh man, I have to get all of the 9 of those things back together again. Well, when you get good at it, it's not such a big deal, because you're consciously bad at something, and then you're unconsciously bad at it, and then you're consciously good at it, and then at a certain point you become unconsciously good at doing that process, whether it's following these habits or riding a unicycle. And over time, as you improve, you do eventually get to that unconscious point where you can just make minor adjustments and just go with the flow, and it doesn't knock you off. You don't fall over or smack your face on the pavement when you fall off the unicycle, or when you're trying to focus on your work and you have ADHD and your dog is barking, and you realize you're hungry and you haven't had anything to drink for 5 hours and the dishes are dirty. It's like all these things. It's similar to that unicycle where there's all these different pieces that you feel like you need to have in place in order to get it. But eventually you do, and you have those good times where you're just in the flow, or where, riding the unicycle, where you could just like navigate around things and go for, 40 or 50 feet. So, I think for each person, their mix of what they need to focus on looks different. And so that's why when I was starting this coaching process, I didn't want to just make a formula or write out all these 7 habits, because I was like, well, every person's different, so I want to be able to go in and customize what's going on for each person. And while that's true, I think there is benefit to doing this group coaching where you can learn from other people, and maybe there is a habit that it may not be the most important habit for you to acquire to kind of solve your ADHD, but hearing about that other person and the struggle that they're going through, and then how they solve it, when you do encounter that, or when you've gotten 7 out of the 9 things that you need to do in order to have your ADHD like kind of under control or being managed, and then you do encounter that skill that you needed, hearing from that other person what they've been able to do will help you. And then you can apply that same knowledge. So, I've been reading / listening to Dr. Russell Barkley and his book. I can't remember the name of it right now. Yeah, I totally blanked on it. But and now I'm blanking on why I brought that up. because I'm like, uh, it's been a long day, but yeah, sorry, that has left my brain, and it may come back later, and I'll get to share it with you tomorrow. But yeah, I've been reading and listening on audiobook to his book. I feel like it's taking charge of ADHD, something taking charge of adult ADHD. That may be maybe the title. But it's just been cool to listen to like the stories that he shares, and that every person is different. That we all have different degrees of each of the challenges of ADHD, and that kind of solving it or finding out the recipe for success for us, for each person, is going to look a little different. And that's where trying out each part of the recipe and going through observe, orient, decide, act, and having somebody else to give you that growth guidance like I talked about yesterday, or being able to organize the chaos where you've got things to put, all of the action items, all the things that you need to be doing, because our brains are great at having ideas, not at holding ideas. And especially if you have ADHD, it can be so challenging. Sounds like my crock pot of chicken is done, so the meal prep for dinners for a while is complete. But yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say. I've got a lot of ideas about this, but they're all kind of rolling around. I'll have to capture them in my digital second brain, in my organizing chaos system, and then I can share them with you over the course of some videos. And yeah, I'm curious to also just watch back this video and see how it was with me sitting down versus me standing. I feel like I'm lower energy when I'm doing that, but this is meant for short people and not for tall people. So yeah, we shall see. Thank you for joining me. Again, my name is Chris Porter. I'm an ADHD coach launching a group coaching program called Focus Habits. And if you sign up on the wait list while I'm still going live over the next 18 days, you can get a 50% discount off of the coaching program once it goes live. If it's after then, I will probably still give some discounts, but I will not be doing that 50% discount. So this is going to be the only time over the next 18 days that you can get that discount. So sign up on the wait list. You'll be the first people to hear about this program once it goes live. And yeah, I'm excited that I don't have to eat dog food tonight, that I've been able to be 12 days consistent despite having ADHD and a 3-month-old child and a corgi that acts like a 3-month-old child sometimes, and just all the excuses that cause me to say, oh, I don't know, Mike, I don't think I could do this, and I've gotten past them. So I think hopefully at the end of this, it will be a testament to you that you can do hard things, and that ADHD doesn't have to be an excuse. We don't have to say, oh, I can't do that because I have ADHD. We can find a way. It just might look different from how other people do it. Doing this helps me. Marking down on the sticky notes what day it is and putting up on the wall helps me. And then getting to eat cookies when I'm done with this also helps me. So yeah, hope you have a great night. Thanks for joining. And I will be seeing you tomorrow, or I will be eating dog food. Stay tuned to find out which one it is.